Imagine standing in front of your bedroom door, hand hovering inches from the handle, when you hear it, a wet, ragged wheezing from the other side. You know with a certainty that defies logic that if you turn that handle, your heart will simply stop. This is the reality of SCP-303.
Item number SCP-033. Object class Euclid.
Special containment procedures. Because SCP-303 has not yet demonstrated the ability to leave the boundaries of Site-04, the entire facility has been repurposed as its de facto containment zone. No physical barriers have proven capable of preventing SCP-303 from manifesting. Instead, containment focuses on the management of personnel and the mitigation of psychological trauma.
All staff members at Site-04 are to be spaced such that no individual is ever truly isolated. A buddy system is mandatory. Any individual who encounters SCP-303 is to immediately retreat and report the location of the manifestation to security. Under no circumstances should any personnel attempt to force open a door, curtain, or partition behind which SCP-303 is suspected to be lurking.
Description: SCP-303 is a humanoid entity of indeterminate sex. It is described as being extremely thin, with skin the color of raw muscle. It possesses no eyes, no nose, and no ears.
Its most defining feature is its mouth, which is oversized even for its gaunt frame and is filled with large, flat humanoid teeth. The entity is constantly heard making a loud, labored, wheezing sound, audible through any barrier it stands behind.
SCP-303 does not move in the traditional sense. Instead, it manifests. It chooses a door, a locker, a shower curtain, or any other threshold that can be opened or closed. It then stands on the opposite side of that threshold from a human subject.
The primary anomaly of SCP-303 is not its physical form, but the intense, paralyzing fear it radiates. Any sentient being who becomes aware of SCP-303's presence on the other side of a door is immediately struck by a phobia so overwhelming that they are physically unable to open the door or confront the entity.
This fear is not merely psychological. It is a primal biological shutdown. Subjects report that their brains simply refuse to send the signal to their hands to turn the knob.
The entity will remain behind the threshold for an indeterminate amount of time, usually until the subject departs the area. If a subject is trapped in a room with only one exit and SCP-303 manifests behind that exit, the subject will remain trapped until the entity chooses to dematerialize.
While SCP-303 has never been observed to physically attack a subject, its presence often leads to secondary trauma, dehydration, or in extreme cases, self-harm, as the subject attempts to escape through non-standard exits.
To better understand the nature of the entity, the following logs have been recovered from Site-04 records. Incident Report 303A. Involved personnel: Researcher Simon and Lab Assistant Greer.
Assistant Greer was entering the Level 2 break room to restock the coffee station. As he reached for the handle of the supply cabinet, he heard a heavy clacking of teeth, followed by a wet, whistling breath. Greer immediately collapsed to his knees, clutching his chest.
He reported a feeling of complete and utter existential dread, stating that he knew if he saw what was behind the cabinet door, his life would lose all meaning.
Researcher Simon entered the room 3 minutes later
and found Greer hyperventilating on the floor. Simon attempted to approach the cabinet, but as he drew within 2 meters, he too was overcome by the fear response.
Thermal imaging directed at the cabinet showed a distinct humanoid heat signature standing inside the 12-inch deep shelving unit, a space physically impossible for a creature of its described size to occupy. The entity vanished 3 hours later.
Addendum 303B, Experimental Log. The Foundation attempted to utilize D-Class personnel to force a confrontation with SCP-303. D-102 was equipped with a remote-controlled camera and ordered to enter a storage room where the wheezing sound had been confirmed.
Upon reaching the door, D-102 became hysterical, screaming that the big-toothed man was waiting for him. Despite threats of termination, D-102 refused to touch the handle.
A second D-Class, D-103, was ordered to approach the same door from a different hallway, effectively flanking the entity. D-103 approached the door from the opposite side. Interestingly, D-103 did not hear the wheezing and felt no fear. He opened the door easily. The room was empty.
Simultaneously, D-102, still on the other side, screamed and collapsed. He claimed that as D-103 opened the door, he saw a red, spindly hand reach out from the air and pull the door shut from his side, despite D-103 seeing the door swing open into an empty room.
This suggests that SCP-303 exists in a state of partial displacement, visible and tangible only to those it chooses to haunt.
Incident Report 303-C, the surgical suite incident. During a routine appendectomy on Agent P. Miller, the entity manifested behind the plastic curtain separating the operating theater from the scrub room.
The lead surgeon, the anesthesiologist, and 2 nurses were immediately paralyzed. The surgeon reported that he could see the silhouette of SCP-303 pressed against the translucent plastic of the curtain. It was leaning forward, its oversized teeth clicking against the plastic, seemingly watching the open incision on the patient's abdomen.
The staff remained frozen for 45 minutes. Agent Miller, who was under local anesthesia but awake, began to panic as he realized the doctors had stopped moving. He could not see the curtain from his position, but he reported hearing the wet whistling of something's breath.
When SCP-303 finally dematerialized, Agent Miller had suffered significant internal hemorrhaging due to the abandonment of the procedure. More hauntingly, when the surgeons finally regained their composure, they found that a set of surgical shears had been placed inside the patient's chest cavity.
None of the staff had moved. The shears had been on a tray on the other side of the room, behind where the entity had been standing. This incident confirmed that SCP-303 is capable of physical interaction with our environment, even if it cannot be directly confronted. The psychological toll on Site-04 staff has been immense. The 303 response is now a recognized medical condition among site personnel, characterized by a phobia of closed doors, curtains, and even dark corners.
One final note was recovered from the personal journal of a Level 3 researcher who was found dead of a self-inflicted wound in his quarters. The note read, "It isn't just behind the door anymore. I closed my eyes to wash my face, and I heard the wheezing. It was standing behind my eyelids.
Every time I blink, I see those teeth. I can't stop blinking. I have to make it stop."
The Foundation continues to monitor Site-04 for any signs that SCP-303's influence is expanding. For now, it remains a ghost in the machine, a predator that feeds not on flesh, but on the very concept of a threshold.
It is the thing that waits, the wheezing in the dark, the reason you hesitate before opening the closet at night. If you want to see more files from the Foundation's deepest archives, subscribe now.